$14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vainglory8 powered by the VIS League. I'm your host, Dragonborn. Joining me tonight, Denomine, and we are going to bring you guys the off-stream match here on the VIS League channel. Of course, as always, you guys know we bring you guys the off-stream match that's not played on the main Vainglory8 channel, but these are, in fact, Vainglory8 teams playing Vainglory8 matches, and a lot is on the line. Denomine, thanks for joining me tonight, and let's get into talking a little bit about the two teams that we have matched up here tonight.
Yeah, it should be an exciting one that we have ahead of us. Obviously, we have GankStars versus Tempo Storm, two teams that have been, perhaps you could say, underperforming a little bit. Now, I do think they are still very good teams, and if it does come down to them both being in the challenge battles, I think they are more than capable of holding their spot. The one wild card that I'd be a little concerned about if I were them is that Team Hazard, who's been knocking down a lot of really good teams. But when it comes down to the end of the day today, one of these teams will be advancing with 2 more points, with an opportunity of picking up a maximum of 6 additional points on our Sunday lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a huge deal in that sense. I think there's also momentum here. We've actually seen the GankStars roster, they've been improving every single week, and they've started to pick up some points. Last week was their first points ever, and now they're looking to do that again today. And honestly, Denomine, I think they've got a good shot here against Tempo Storm. I think this is actually a matchup they could win, and this could be the first time they move on to day number 2 this entire season. GankStars going to pick up, ban Rona. They took a little bit of time to think about it. Now Tempo Storm is up. And they're also burning into some bonus time as they look to make their decision here. And they are going to ban the Rhyme. So Rona, an interesting ban here. Denomine, talk to me a little bit about that as they do pick up Blackfeather. Is it just so they could get the Blackfeather? What's the real strength of that Rona ban? And Denomine is muted here a little bit. So we'll talk a little bit about that Rona ban. Blackfeather Kestrel's picked up. This is a signature hero for Hyde, as well as Gatsby. Both can play this mechanically very well. As we're going to see two of the supports banned here. And Lyra picked up. Captain's going to be the GankStars support. Something that we know all too well is a Mac Daddy favorite, as he locks that in. Now GankStars is going to be rounding out their jungle, I think. We'll see if it's Lulu on the Blackfeather or if it's Xeno. That's something we've seen Denomine is the Blackfeather when it comes to GankStars is a very high flex pick because both Lulu and Xeno love playing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry about being muted there for a second. I was in the wrong draft logins. Had to get that switched over. I definitely think that Rona ban was so that they could get the Blackfeather. You just mentioned it, that Blackfeather is such a strong flex pick for the side of GankStars. And when we look at what's on the table, once that Rhyme and Rona are gone, there's not a whole lot that really does exceedingly well into Blackfeather. So now they have the Blackfeather, they have the Catherine. They're probably going to look for something like a Samuel at this point, to deny it away from Tempo Storm, as well as they would get that strong late-game Crystal Jungler on Xenotech that he's also very skilled with as well. Blackfeather is one of the big picks we see come out, but instead it's the Reza, and it's kind of a similar playstyle with less of the AoE damage. It's more focused onto a single target. It's realistically capable of the same damage, but again, it's a single target build.
Yeah, but it's a burst attack, and it's one that we see it does a lot of damage, especially in the mid game. When we talk about the 5 to 6 minute, that's a really critical part of the game. A lot of games are won and lost, regardless of how strong your late game comp is, based on those plays. So it'd be really important to keep an eye, to keep watching how GankStars will play this. I really like the Reza pick. I think this is a pick that Xenotech, he's been very proficient on.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a difficult position now for Tempo Storm to be in. They could go with something like the Scarf, but the Reza is actually pretty decent into Scarf. Or they could go with like a Kashka, who's decent into the Reza, but you have the Blackfeather and the Catherine as well. So there's not really a whole lot that's widely good here. The Ozo does work. The other one I was going to say is the Krull. But they do go with the Ozo, and this does pair up well with the Lyra because of Ozo's natural ability to gain increased healing through his Carney luck.
Yeah, but I will say, whenever we see the Ozo come out, there's a few things that I like and don't like. One, I think both Reza and Blackfeather are going to be able to do a pretty good job dodging out those bangerangs, and that's a really strong crowd control. The other thing, too, is if you use the bangerang to engage and you don't get the stun, you're basically a sitting duck there. It's really hard to get out unless you can jump to one of your friends very quickly. This is where the Catherine's kind of a good Ozo counter. We usually see Catherine play well as far as using her Merciless Pursuit, getting the stun, keeping Ozo from bouncing around. He's not immune when he's bouncing around to dominate. So, like, is this a problem for Ozo? Because even with Blackfeather, a Rose offensive in the right direction or an ultimate from Reza, and then really Ozo can't do much.
Yeah, it's definitely an opportunity, but it is triple melee, so they will be susceptible to the multi-target acro bounce that can ramp up damage so quickly. That's something we saw I believe last week in the Hammers versus Team Solo mid game where Status was able to pull off that 1v3. It was because all three members of TSM were clustered up trying to get onto him. In those acro bounces, he gains fortified health. If he goes with an Eve of Harvest, he'll gain healing back off of it as well. And it also splashes increasing amounts of damage onto all three targets, just naturally through the ability. That third bounce obviously does more, as well as the Dragon's Eye allows his crystal power to scale up as the fight continues.
No, absolutely. It does a lot of damage. We'll have to see how well Hyde can play this Ozo pick into this composition specifically. A lot of pressure, I really think, on Mac Daddy to just, he has to keep his team at the front of the fight, and he also has to prevent Ozo from getting to that back line, which is really Ozo's strength. So right now, Tempo doing a good job to nominate. It looks like being able to clear out that Elder Treant and picking up some farm here. Early on, you don't see that difference in the numbers too much, but it is a huge difference when your rotation includes a little bit more CS.
Yeah, definitely a good start here for Tempo. They are a couple hundred gold ahead. It's going to change relatively quickly here as obviously Lulu gets back into the lane. There's quite a few minions sitting here waiting for him as he's splitting ambient gold with Xenotech in the jungle right now. Noticing that the waves push, he does miss out on 1 CS, but he is going to come up and catch this whole wave. So that's really the key thing here. Again,
catch that wave in
600-700 gold.
Yeah, catch that wave in a few glimmer shots, so he already has to play underneath his turret here. This is a big wave. We'll see if he can clear it out effectively. As Gatsby's done a good job with this Kestrel, keeping the lane pushed, which is what we've really seen Kestrel become really proficient at in Update 2.9.
Absolutely. Her amount of lane pressure can be pretty massive. The ability to clear out minions fairly quickly when you're uncontested, as well as then if your opposing laner steps a little too far out, you're able to come through and obviously get that big damage spike onto them as well. It's not as potent when you only have 1 point, so the level 1, it's actually more efficient for you to just use your basic attacks. But once you hit level 2, it does bonus weapon power on those glimmer shots, so that's huge for a Kestrel.
It is Mac Daddy and Lulu. They pushed up here, now trying to put lane pressure on the side of Tempo. First time actually for a while, helping with the minion candy to get the job done. And now it's Gatsby that has to play under turret. Should be able to do a good job quickly clearing out this lane, as Kestrel's just so good at doing. Xenotech, on the other hand, down the jungle, he's been able to complete his rotations uncontested. And this is something that, you know, granted the Ozo pick does have some damage early, it typically doesn't really scale until we get after the 5 and 6 minute mark to nominate. And that's where, yeah, if Tempo is going to start surprising GankStars, I expect it to be around that time.
Yeah, definitely going to be a large mid-game spike for Reza, but also for Ozo. Once Ozo starts getting into that second item, he does start to get a massive amount of burst damage, mostly through his acro bounce, but also a little bit through his 3-ring circus, where he's also going to be able to heal up a bit of damage as well. So we'll have to look out for that. And then we'll have to see, obviously, if Lulu is able to get onto Gatsby effectively and Xenotech get onto Gatsby effectively, where they can get in, get that burst, and allow Lulu to get that Faint of Heart execute damage.
We see a nice acro bounce from High, trying to get in. Mac Daddy's actually very low. They may have found Reza out here. They do have the team split. MacDaddy looking to try to rotate down to see if they can find damage on the Reza. Xenotech actually able to stay pretty full health, and it's actually Hyde who has dropped down considerably low. So this is going to allow Xenotech to continue farming freely. He doesn't have to port or back. He is going to finally make his way to the shop. Meanwhile, Temple Storm has rotated up to the lane with Hyde rotate to his back. So both teams, Denominate, they're doing a good job trying to clean up their rotations. Like, you've seen GankStars, they've been two-man carrying the rotations for the back jungle multiple times, just trying to keep that gold as close as possible to Tempo. So only a 700 or so gold lead going over the Tempo Storm here early, which really is fairly negligible when it comes to both how these teams are going to be playing and scaling.
Well, that's kind of what you'd expect with an Ozo in the jungle versus a Reza in the jungle. The Ozo grouping up his backs can do just a little bit of additional damage and clean out the jungle faster, which, you know, in turn makes them respawn sooner because you've killed them sooner, and then you can get back to your rotation a little bit quicker. And although it might only seem like a couple seconds, after 4, 5, 6 rotations, those couple seconds start to add up pretty quickly, as well as Playboy Afro and Gatsby have spent a lot of time grouped together in the lane, and there's more gold in the lane, so splitting that ambient, as far as visual net gain, is more drastic than Xenotech and Lulu splitting the backs. So that is important to make note that yes, the gold is higher for Tempo Storm right now, but that's because Playboy Afro is a little bit ahead in gold, not because the carries are ahead in gold.
We just see a bangerang onto MacDaddy. It's actually MacDaddy that Hyde and Afro have been focusing. Not sure that's the target they really need. They have been able to push the lane up far enough, though, and now that they can focus on the turret. Instead, they rotate down to go find Xenotech. Reza in the jungle takes a little bit of shots from the Ozo, as now Ozo is just dodging out some of that fire. MacDaddy's going to rotate down to try to help out. It's honestly coming down to contesting this tree end here, as the contest in the lane hasn't been much. Hyde does pick up that tree end, so the heal on Ozo is substantial, which means Hyde's going to heal up really fast. And now there's an exposed turret here still. Wouldn't be surprised at all if Temple continues putting pressure onto it.
Yeah, Xenotech popping his flask down here in the jungle. He wants to get topped off to come up here into the lane. MacDaddy does have his fountain, and Playboy Afro has gone the Crucible first. Here's the Acro Bounce.
It's going in deep. Turret dive, but the turret's also really low. Nice job by Hyde to get away from the Reza as the Reza ults. And now there's a turret going on. This is where Gatsby, uncontested, yeah, he's allowing Afro and Hyde to just get all of the distraction, absorb all the damage, and then he can just blow up objectives. And this is where Kestrel's going to be absolutely phenomenal in this game. Blackfeather is going to get really strong as we get into late game once he's got 2 or 3 more items. But until then, right now, it looks like Kestrel's been able to do a good job shoring up the lane, putting the pressure, and now they've got that first objective.
Yeah, they're looking good right now. Again, both of these teams have been on the bottom for quite some time this season. GankStars sitting with 1 point, Tempo with 0. So it's going to be a pretty close matchup. Reza is starting to get to that point where he is going to start to spike his damage. He's just got to be able to get it down onto the right target, and that's the difficult thing to make out of all this. Yes, they got the first turret down, but Kestrel is significantly better at pushing wave than Blackfeather, whereas Blackfeather is going to be looking for those heavy damage executions in the team fights, where then as a team they can push down the turret after.
Absolutely. GS starting to lose a little bit of that gold edge. And this is a good look for Ozo. Ozo actually loves taking the lead and blows up Xenotech. There's a banger and comes in and finds Blackfeather. Slate stud. Lulu is bursting around it. This is where Lulu shines. Gets the kill onto Afro. And now it's actually Hyde. He's dropping pretty low. Lulu's all full health. And this is where we've seen Lulu shine here. Is he is just unbelievable with the sustain on this Blackfeather. It's so hard to take him down, Denominate. And even with a 3v2, Lulu just really impressing here. Picks up that nice ace.
Yeah, the amount of damage that Lulu's able to ramp up very quickly, even before the breaking point comes out, is just because he actually does damage of a percentage of missing health with 15% weapon power on top of that execution as well. So when we see targets get low, Gatsby was down to a little under half, maybe a third health. and one feint of heart coming through chunked him down, almost dead. Obviously, there's not a lot of weapon power built up on Lulu yet, but the on point coming out after was able to secure the kill, and GankStars is now up 3-1 despite being down gold and despite being down that first objective. They even up the turrets, though, off the back of those kills.
Yeah, and honestly, they shored that gold up to just over 1,000 gold lead going over to Tempo Storm. So, although I agree Tempo's had the early tempo of this match, they really are not looking like they're going to be able to snowball this whatsoever. GankStars is here to play, and I'm kind of worried if Lulu keeps playing Blackfeather this way throughout the rest of the game, I don't see Tempo taking him out very easily. You see a nice bulwark here to kind of slow Lulu down. Xenotech coming on from the jungle on the bottom of this fight. And Hyde, he's got to be careful going into a fight when all three members are up. It does mean he's going to be the focus of attention from the damage coming out from GankStars. A lot of pressure still being applied. This is where the poke to dominate as Lulu hits level 10, as well as Xenotech is starting to get that soon. They're going to have so much poke damage here. It's going to be very bursty. And Kestrel, with no defense at this point, seems a little exposed.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you have to run a Kestrel, though. If you commit too early to defense, you don't have the damage to blow through that front line. And Playboy Afro's taking a bit as well here. But important purchase to make note of, Lulu has picked up the metal jacket now, so he's going to be able to tank up some of those glimmer shots. We see Gaspy recalling right now to get that second monocle. He's going to have to get Pure Sunline if he wants to actually do reasonable amount of damage to Lulu. I mean, it's going to take a whole clip of glimmer shots onto Lulu to put him down at a dangerous health bar at this point. And with Mac Daddy and Xenotech also being the ones that are going to dive onto that Kestrel, you can't guarantee that every single one of those glimmer shots is going to land onto Lulu. So it is an unfortunate situation for Gaspy to be in, but if they can hold their ground long enough, they definitely can come out on top. You know, right here, 11 minutes, Xenotech has completed the metal jacket as well.
And they're looking to engage on this fight. It's still 2,000 lead for Tempo, but you wouldn't know that from GankStars. They're being aggressive, looking to come in there. Lulu does have to back out of the fight, but goes in nicely as he's got vision on that tree end. So he's able to get in there, get that heal, so he'll be right back up in the fighting shape in a few seconds. Tempo Storm, they got to be careful. This is something that we see all too often when going up against GankStars, and this actually has been really one of the things that Lulu's done so well, is when he is on this Blackfeather, he is just so much harder to handle and so hard to take down.
Yeah, absolutely. As GankStars now starting up this gold mine, looking for more. It's a bait, though. They're on Playboy Afro.
They might have found him. He's dropping very low. He goes down. There's a Crucible. Has to use the foul end. And lol, nice silence as he finds the kill. Gaspy's trying to do damage, but it's not enough. And Hyde, he's got to run out of there as fast as he can. But all of GankStars is on it still. Oh, no, Hyde, why did you go back in? He gets deleted. That's another ace for GankStars. And this time around, they're going to get this gold mine. And it looks like they're going to get another turret. And GankStars have just opened up this game.
Yeah, and shy of a miracle, I'm thinking this is going to be GankStars' game, unless if Gaspy and Hyde are able to find damage onto the same target. And like we talked about earlier, the Acro Bounce has to hit all three targets if they want it to be effective. It hasn't really happened that way until that, you know, the trail end of that very last fight. The Acro Bounce did come out, but it was a little too late. He was the only one alive, and with all three of GankStars focusing on him, it was only a matter of time before that monkey met his maker. And now GankStars, with a level advantage here on Lulu, as well as having a level 10 infusion that's ticking out, if they look for a fight here soon, they should be able to clean it out pretty easily.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely need to. They need this, absolutely, you know, to make it all the way. GankStars looking for their first series victory of the season with just a week, 2 weeks of play left. But, you know, again, a victory is a victory. It'd be a massive moral victory for them as they look to be heading into challenge battles now. Really, that's what it's all about. Shoring up some of their mistakes, working on improving the style so when they go to the challenge battles, they're prepared to take on these challenger teams. And
hey, one of these teams, not both of them, but one of them technically can still acquire enough points to get out of the challenge.
I mean, let's be honest. It's just the odds are very, very low for that to happen. So I wouldn't hold my breath. I know GankStars not. They have made it very clear that their focus is to just stay in the Vainglory8, and honestly, they're in great shape to do that as we get ready for next season. But you know what? A win in the series would be huge here, Denamine, because, you know, Tempo Storm, they've been struggling as well, but if GankStars could get a strong series win against Tempo, they'll definitely start to, you know, first of all, give themselves the confidence they need to, you know, continue playing at a higher and higher level.
Absolutely, and you know, obviously GankStars definitely a renowned team. It's a homegrown organization here in Vainglory. They've been around for a long time. I think pretty much all the viewers would like to see them in the Vainglory8 going into 2018 as well. Tempo Storm, obviously, pretty big organization. They're looking to keep their name here up at the top as well, but it's going to be difficult with some of these challenger teams coming up. I mean, Vision has looked really good. Obviously, Team Hazard as well. Echo Fox got to be dying for their spot back. So there's a lot of really close competition in North America right now, and GankStars is showing us right now that they want to stay.
They are. Look at the aggression. Hyde has to use the Bangarang, but Xenotech still alive. They are going back and forth. This fight is lasting forever, and it is going to be Gatsby that drops first. The sustain from Lulu, it's unbelievable, including Xenotech. So close to going down, but does not. And now Lulu's going to chase Afro all the way in. There's nothing Afro could do here. Lulu dropping very low, but he's able to survive. This is just unbelievable. It's just so hard to take down Lulu. I don't think they're going to get another kill onto Lulu for the rest of the game. And GankStars, now with this Kraken being started up, they are looking to close out this game.
Yeah, definitely looking to do so. We'll have to see if they're able to pull things together.
Absolutely. We are now approaching the 15-minute mark. Kraken has been unleashed, Denamine. This is tough, man. I mean, Tempo Storm, they have the raw damage output, but what GankStars has been able to do is balance that. They don't overcommit. You know, Xenotech goes in, takes a lot of damage, he backs away. Then, you know, you talk about going in, and then it's another, you know, fight. Blackfeather just heals right back up thanks to that Serpent's Mask. Just unbelievable how much sustain and positioning GankStars has been able to do here in this matchup. That was a long team fight too, Denamine, and you know, again, GankStars winning these long fights, not a good sign for the life of Tempo.
Yeah, not a good sign as they are up 9-1 right now, pushing in the choke point turret. Lulu's a bit behind though, so he's gonna have to catch up. Here comes the Acro Bounce.
That's actually a lot of damage on the Magdaddy. Magdaddy's honestly been the recipient of a lot of damage here, but that's alright. That's what he's there for. He's not too worried. Now they're just looking to try to stop this Kraken. This is GankStars with the chance to take out one of these crystal turrets, maybe even push for the win. We'll see how Tempo can respond. They are doing everything they possibly can, trying to find a victory here, trying to like stop the bleeding, but it's not enough. There goes the first crystal turret, and look at this. GankStars, they have plenty of health. Lulu is very low. He might finally fall. He does finally die. So I'm going to have to eat my words there, but it's still Xenotech and MacDaddy here just keeping pressure on the side of Tempo.
Yeah, they have been, and they're buying time for the Kraken to do her thing. They are going to be able to stop it, I would think, at least. Yeah. Oh, MacDaddy might be coming back in here.
Just looking for a few shots. There's not much that a Catherine could do attack-wise. She doesn't have a Storm Crown here, but she is helping. Oh, wait, but Xenotech thinking about coming back in. This is so dangerous, but is he going to get it? Oh, my goodness. GankStars, they've got the victory.
Even if Xenotech would have died there, he drew the attention of Hyde off of the Kraken, and that was such a close finish. It looked like Xenotech might have dipped into the jungle, picked up that Treant just for that little additional regeneration, and then came back in. Great performance out of GankStars here. Now, Tempo Storm are still in this. They still can come back. This is a best-of-3 series, but GankStars take the first game, and that puts them up a point in this series.
Oh, another point on the board. GankStars are trying to end the season on a high note here as they look to find a victory. Tempo Storm looked good there early, Denamine. The Ozo, you know, was doing a lot of damage, but just unfortunately, Gatsby got a little bit behind. You see, at 17 minutes, wasn't able to get to that fourth item. Was actually having to build Pierce, just because of how much armor Reza and Lou. Look at that. 2 metal jackets, Denamine. Just unbelievable the amount of damage that they could absorb, and that really contributed to them staying in these fights. They focused defense. You know, I know we talk about how important offense is versus defense, but sometimes getting that early defense can really help you.
Yeah, definitely can, but we should be getting ready to get into game number 2 here and see if Tempo Storm is able to put their first point on the board. Obviously, we'll be switching them over to the A side, so they might get the opportunity to get that first power pick. But it was actually a really interesting draft coming out of GankStars, you know, banning away that Rona, and then Tempo Storm played right into it by banning away the Rhyme. Right. They made a easy Black Feather pickup for Lulu, and that's one of his signature heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be checking here. Looks like we are ready to go. Just waiting for confirmation from... There we go. There's Hyde. So sometimes we take a break. There's no need to take a break this time around. So Denominate, I think you're ready. I'm ready. Let's jump right into game number 2.
The draft begins.
All right, here we go with the draft. What will Tempo do? Are they going to try to pick up the GankStars draft and get that Black Feather from themselves? We won't know until we see what comes out. About 8 seconds left, 5 seconds left, I mean, before they start pushing into their bonus time, and they're taking a bit to think about this one. Oh, there's the Black Feather.
Tempo. Yeah, see, this was honestly the mistake they made is, if you look at GankStars play, they don't play the slower Rhyme Alpha, although I will say actually Xenotech's Alpha is pretty scary. They just don't play those. They love these fast-paced in, get out heroes. They love the Black Feather. So, you know, Tempo should have been aware of that. When the Rona ban came out, they needed to give that up. Now, granted, I know that Rhyme was going to be a power pick, but that's a risk you got to take. You got Kestrel. I'm just surprised, honestly, at how the draft went down there. You know, with Kestrel, I like the Kestrel ban, actually. And I think that, you know, GankStars might have been a little bit dangerous, though, because Rhyme is going to be first pick. Now they don't really have that strong counter.
Well, I'd be willing to say there are still strong counters on the board, just maybe some that aren't in the meta and that people are a little uncomfortable playing at this point. I do actually really like either Sky or Krull into Rhyme. They go with the Krull. Mm-hmm. Sky, unfortunately, does take a bit of time to ramp up, and that's kind of the downfall, because Rhyme is really a powerhouse all game long. I mean, from minute 1 to minute 51, I mean, Rhyme is a relevant hero, whereas Sky needs to get to that 15, 16-minute mark safely before she can start to take off.
Now, I'm going to say...
go with the Krull.
Yeah, I would say with the Krull pairing, if I was Tempo, I really think they should consider banning the Grace. Against the Rhyme, Krull and Grace synergize really well as being able to lock up that Rhyme in those really close engaged combat. You know, the Krull and Rhyme are going to be going head-to-head. That Holy Nova would be absolutely monstrous here. We could see them go with the Catherine instead, but I really think Mac Daddy's Grace is fantastic. And so Tempo Storm needs to be probably wary of this. They may not ban away the Grace here, but I think that is going to offer a lot of sustain going into the Krull, even more so than an Arden.
Yeah, absolutely. They take the Scarf off, and Scarf is another hero that's good into the Rhyme, as well as with the Black Feather off the table. What other heroes do we know Lulu for?
Exactly. No,
Scarf and Celeste.
That is a really good pick against this roster. We don't see Scarf played a lot right now, but you're absolutely right. This is really taking Lulu off his picks. They're going to go with the Arden here. So again, a great pick because Arden's late game crowd control is really strong to nominate. But I don't know if that gives him quite the heal, especially if we see Tempo Storm pick up something like a Grace.
Absolutely. The Arden and the Krull do pair very well together as well. I'd almost be willing to say the Catherine would be really good into the Krull as well. But it is a little bit... yeah, it's hard to say. Obviously, the Grace can use that, or the Holy Nova, but she's stuck in place during that time versus something like a Catherine who can directly stun this Krull. Instead, they go with a Fortress, and that's going to provide some mortal wounds to cut down the sustain that Krull has.
Yeah, I understand why they're doing this. It is a really strong engage composition, which is interesting because Rhyme's not known for that. But with the Fortress, with some more treads, you know, they should be able to get into these fights pretty quick. The weapon paddle comes out here in the lane. And this is one that we've seen Denominate really take shape here in this update because of just the sheer amount of range Petal has.
Absolutely, and then the 20% bonus weapon power she gets when using the trampoline, as well as that additional 1.2 range, makes her a huge threat over most heroes, at least in the lane. So it is going to come down. Oh, there's the Celeste, so that's the other pick that we know Lulu for. So Took all 3 of them, or the other 2, to get banned away, but we still got the Celeste through.
I do like Celeste. I just don't know if I like Celeste in this composition, Dominate, because, you know, Celeste isn't going to out-trade Rhyme as far as if they're close combat, and Fortress is going to be able to provide that speed boost for both the Rhyme and the Petal. Petal also really good at getting around those core collapses, getting around those stuns. If, you know, early reflex blocks are going to be needed here, Dominate, but if they pull those out, Tempo Storm really does have a good draft into this GankStars comp.
Yeah, they definitely do. We'll have to see what they end up doing about it. Obviously, the Celeste can be very good at zoning out these weapon heroes. We see it with the Kestrel quite often. The same can be said about the Petal. Petal's going to go 4 offensive items with only 1 defensive. So that does make her susceptible to massive damage spikes even when building an Aegis. And the Rhyme as well. If the Rhyme is not able to get into that backline, he is slowly but surely going to get pelted down by Lulu.
Yeah, Hyde's got to step up for this one. Denominate. He's not known to being a prominent Rhyme player, but he really needs to strut his stuff going into this matchup. We are getting into it, though. This is game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, of this best of 3 between Tempo Storm and GankStars as Tempo Storm moves on here to the A side. But they are down 1 point in the series versus GankStars.
Yeah, I think they've got a reasonable draft going forward, though. But, you know, the Krull into the Rhyme, that's a fairly good matchup for GankStars, and the Celeste into the Rhyme and the Petal, a fairly good matchup for GankStars.
Tempo again, early aggression, pushing forward. They're actually going to forgo their back rotation, go right for that Triet. As they want to start, it's a little bit what we call like an offset rotation, where they're pretty sure GankStars is going to start in the back, so this allows them to clear out their farm, then rotate up to the lane, and avoids, it's kind of like an anti-conflict rotation.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have an update for the on-stream game for those of us joining us today. It is Hammers that take game 1 over Rogue, and the draft is starting for that. So if they finish before us, we'll give you the updates. But Tempo Storm looking to push this to a game 3. Obviously, the weapon Petal can be incredibly potent in the late game.
Denoted. That's a huge implication for the Hammers Rogue matchup, because both teams are neck and neck in that race for that world spin spot. Knocking one out in week 1 would be enormous for either team, as actually the winner of that matchup will be playing the winner of this matchup. And I'd have to say both those teams are in great shape for being able to go possibly all the way to the finals this week. So I'm really looking forward to that matchup. But we got a fight breaking out. Xenotech, he's dropping low, but now he's turning his attention with full stacks on to Hyde. Hyde has to back away. It requires Gatsby to rotate down just to scare just to scare Xenotech from finishing that off. Oh, so much damage already coming out. But this is where Xenotech on this Krull. This guy is actually a masterful Krull. He's been playing this hero in the competitive scene for so long, and he knows it in and out. Wouldn't be surprised at all if Xenotech can just single-handedly hard carry this matchup, as he's just, you know, one of the better Krulls here in the Vainglory8.
Absolutely, and when paired up with the amount of crowd control that GankStars have, obviously Mac Daddy going to be coming out big with the double gauntlets in the later portion of the game. Xenotech has the From Hell's Heart. Lulu is going to have that core collapse. They can lock this Petal or Rhyme up for a long period of time, and that is going to make either of these targets very easy to deal with. If they can land the stuns onto Petal, they're almost certainly going to get a kill right off the back. Rhyme might be a little bit tankier. He might need a little bit more time to ramp up some fortified health, but very well can survive that burst if done correctly.
Absolutely. Nice core collapse, locks up Hyde, but he's still pushing in. Well, fortified roots the Mac Daddy. Mac Daddy drops! Nice job by Rhyme getting those Winter Spires. They're not going to be able to take away that tree, but they're turning their attention on the Xenotech and Lulu. Xenotech rotates down on the bottom of the jungle. They're going behind the Crystal Sentry Fort, and they're going to get the kill. Tempo, 2 quick kills, first blood as well, and they're going to get some of the gold. Nice pressure coming out from Tempo Storm here, and I agree with you, Denominate. They look like they have a composition that can definitely apply this pressure early and continue it throughout the entirety of this game.
Yeah, they definitely could be looking to do so, and, you know, Gatsby is going to take quite a while to come online on Petal. He needs to hit level 8 for the overdrive on Trampoline, as well as he needs to get a 3rd offensive item before he's really going to start to ramp up the heavy amount of damage. Now, Lulu is looking to go for that Shatterglass first item, most likely, but Xenotech is up here, Shadows Empower Me onto Playboy Afro.
Ooh, looking to go in, but now they turn the attention. It's Lulu dropping low. Core Collapse too high. Doesn't land. There's a Lulu dropping. Xenotech tries to apply some stacks, but he has to get out of there, taking too much damage from both Petal and the Rhyme. Again, in these close fights, it's going to be really tough to get the kills here. Tempo, oh man, they are definitely improving their look from game 1. They already have a 2,000 gold lead. It feels different. I mean, they had an early lead last game too to dominate, but this time around, it feels more impactful.
Yeah, it definitely does. They're using the range of this Petal while it's very similar to Celeste range to their best of their ability. Now, once Lulu hits level 8 and overdrives the Heliogenesis, he will gain a permanent increased range on that ability, whereas Petal is only going to get 4 seconds worth of increased range. So it's going to come down to what Gaspy is able to do. But now Xenotech's on the run. Here's Mac Daddy.
Oh, Afro drops low. A Solar Storm. It's going to miss. Lulu almost got the snipe onto Playboy Afro. He's not going to get it. Hyde and Gaspy do a good job at just kind of keeping the damage at a distance here. Rotation's going to go both teams. Clear out those other triads, move up, but it's actually going to be Tempo moving up to lane first to potentially push this lane back up into the face of Tempo, or of the GankStars. 3-0 to nominate with a 2,000 gold lead, or a little bit under 2,000. Really going to be a good look for here for Tempo. Question is, can they get that turret early? Can they keep this pressure mounting? Because we saw this happen in game number 1. GankStars had a really rough early game, but turned it around and were able to take the win.
Yeah, I think GankStars has a more realistic late game composition, so it is nice to see Tempo Storm pushing this Rhymes advantage early, but now GankStars, they're looking to get onto this first turret. Xenotech might have Hyde caught out.
Xenotech might, but it's going to be Lulu running away. Xenotech had to go to the bush to hide. Nice Core Collapse, only catches Afro. Back Daddy's still low. This has been the challenge with Arden all game, is he struggled to stay alive with his health. His health pool dropping pretty quickly. He doesn't have enough defense items just yet to survive, especially the weapon damage coming out of Gaspy is really hurting, like, really bad. Xenotech going to come down into the jungle now. And so a little bit of a disengage here by GankStars. They're going to be happy enough keeping that lane from pushing up to their turret. But again, they've really struggled with these fights to find any pressure.
Yeah, it's been really difficult for either of these teams to actually get any sort of objective control. It's been a kill here and there for Tempo Storm, but they haven't been able to find, you know, an ace. And they don't really have a good turret pushing composition unless if there's a whole minion wave with them and Rhyme is on the turret.
Exactly. So it's going to take all of both Tempo Storm or GankStars when they start to push for an objective to be able to start getting those pushed down here. I would say if, you know, a couple of kills from Tempo, they'll be able to easily move into this turret because Rhyme does have such good objective taking power. His damage against objectives just seems to really be strong mid to late game here. Gaspy.
Most skill shot heroes are, because, you know, with the skill shots, they tend to have that higher ratio as far as their CP or weapon power, and objectives will not move out of the way of them. I mean, it'll sit there and take Helios all day long. So if either one of these teams, if either Rhyme or Celeste is allowed to be alone on a turret with minions with them, they will be able to take that turret down very quickly. I do give the edge to Celeste for her objective taking power, just because of the cooldown now.
Yeah, absolutely. Lulu dropping low. There's a Hell's Heart comes out. Nice Gauntlet stuns up Gaspy. He's blown away by the Solar Storm. Great job by GankStars to try to turn this fight around, to nominate, as they find their first kill of the game. Now it's up to Tempo to try to keep their turret alive, but like you said, the damage that comes from GankStars right now, great at objective takes here. Hyde just trying to stay alive. He's going to fall. Petal's back up here, but GankStars, great job. And they did exactly what they needed to do. They only need one kill. They were able to put the pressure, turn it around, get an objective. And this is, you know, a large part due to what Celeste can do once she hits level 9, which you saw her just hit. So, something that Tempo needs to be extra careful now as we go through the rest of the game.
Absolutely. It makes it very unsafe for Gaspy to try to farm up his own minions, as he has to come pretty far out. We see Xenotech and Mac Daddy rotating down to the shop now, but Mac Daddy is the only one that really has gold to pick anything up, and he's probably going to work towards that Crucible for his next item, because obviously we have such a devastating AoE stun ability in that Valkyrie that we have to block up coming out of Hyde.
No, absolutely. Xenotech on the Cruel, man. He's trying to hang in there, but look at his CS. Only 26 to Hyde's 52. this, even though they've got an objective lead, they've really struggled in that regard. I mean, he's way behind. Only has that tension bow. Doesn't even have a tier 3 defensive item. So he's got to be extra careful. He's been a little bit mitigated. We have seen Lulu. He's been the one, mostly the recipient of the gold. So he's trying to stay ahead. So he's been taking a lot of that farm from Xenotech. And it's helped. He's got a lot of damage. But you've got to be careful. If he goes down, you do put too much of your damage in one basket.
Now, the Krull's real responsibility here is just to shut down Rhyme as frequently as possible. Get your stacks built up on Rhyme and reduce the amount of damage that he's able to put out. And that's really all Xeno has to do, which is, to me, it's kind of an uncomfortable playstyle coming from him because he excels really well with those heroes that are, you know, game changers, that are, you know, able to get in and make plays, and Krull just isn't, he's just not in that kind of realm of possibility. Here's the attack of the pack.
Nice attack there because the Valkyrie down, Core Collapse, and Solar Storm land onto Gaspy. They do dodge out the Gauntlet block, so he's not trapped inside. This might have been the saving grace here. Afro, though, he's the one who's the focus of attention. He's going to sacrifice himself, and he is going to drop. GankStars have just evened up the kills, and now they are looking to push again. And so, Tempo, they've had this early game momentum to dominate, and it's just crumbling beneath them.
Yeah, like I said, Celeste starts to come online a little bit earlier than the Petal, as well as her utility in fights is much higher than the Petal. Petal, yes, can burst somebody down very quickly with the trampoline, getting that bonus weapon power, that bonus attack range. But if Gaspy is getting poked out before the fight even begins, it becomes too risky for him to use that trampoline to make an engagement.
Yeah, that's been problematic here. Petal really hasn't, you know, been able to be effective in these fights because of how quickly GankStars can now move on top. You see Lulu actually finishes his tier 3 boot, so prioritizing mobility is exactly what we were talking about in order to prevent the disengage that comes out of the Cruel Fortress Petal composition. Rhyme Fortress Petal composition. But, you know,
we also have to look at the builds here right now. Like, the reason that things are starting to come back over to GankStars is Hyde is sitting on a lonely Shatterglass for his damage. He's gone into a lot of defense as well. So once Xenotech is latched onto him, when you get to that 8 stack mark, you're reducing somebody's outgoing damage by 49.6%, you know, basically 50%. And with only one Shatterglass and the likelihood of Rhyme hitting both the initial impact as well as the delayed explosion from that Winter Spire really brings his damage down substantially.
Yeah, he is looking to build some items eventually, but you're right. He doesn't have enough gold to even start a tier 2 offensive item. So it's been really problematic. GankStars, thanks to their good vision, they have such a good handle on the rotations from Tempo. Now they're rotating down, looking to put pressure on this next turret, and already getting some heliogenesis and supernova damage onto that. It's going to be really hard for them to deal with the pressure, as the lane and the jungle are both fighting against Tempo Storm's ability to farm. And you already see again, Lulu, great job, huge amount of damage. One more supernova would do it, but there comes the wolves coming out. Playboy Afro jumping in. Core Collapse does land on the Rhyme. Hyde's dropping low. He gets the Valkyrie, but he doesn't land on anybody. So he's unfortunately not able to complete any of that damage. There comes some fortified health now. Nice block. Stops that from Hell's Heart from Xenotech. But Xenotech, he's still going in. Trying to find this Petal. Gaspy does get away to dominate, but it just, again, looks like GankStars, they have got the last laugh of these fights. They are just absolutely stronger mechanically as far as just their positioning, how they're engaging these fights. It just looks like it's their game to lose.
Well, especially when Lulu gets on one of his comfort picks. Again, he doesn't have that many that we really know he excels with, but when you do give him one of those, it is hard to take all 3 or 4 of them away. When he gets one, he plays out of his mind on that hero. Right now on the Celeste, he is doing so much work. The kills might not reflect it, but he's literally almost single-handedly forced out all of these team fights that Tempo has chosen, and then the Helios coming out have made them turn their tail almost immediately.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it looks like Tempo's looking for a fight, but instead it's GankStars Lulu who ends up actually starting the damage off. And once that damage starts, once those heliogenesis start getting placed, it's really hard to dodge them. It's like a minefield. Afro, understanding they might be going for gold mine, tries to get some vision, maybe just slow things down here as they try to clear the lane. GankStars, though, they know they've got dominance here in the jungle. Might start this gold miner back up. Instead, they're going to actually move up to late because it's Tempo Storm. They're looking for this first objective. But I don't know if they're going to find it just yet because here comes GankStars with the rotation already. They do split up here. I think they're trying to find Lulu. They look to move in, but there's Hyde. He goes right on to Lulu, roots him up, blocks a little bit too late. Valkyrie off the mark, but does hand on Jack Daddy, and it's Lulu. Drops low, he's deleted. Gaspy's very low. Double Gauntlet used by Mac Daddy, but they're out of turret range. Can Afro survive this fight? He is. There's another kill. Mac Daddy's down, and now Tempo find their first team fight of the last 4 or 5 minutes, and now looking to possibly take out their turret. Nice stun, blocked out by Afro, as Xenotech just trying to keep this turret alive.
Yeah, he's trying to, and now as the barrier is going to start coming back, it is going to be a little bit difficult for Tempo to take it. They have to commit a little bit more time, but they do get it down, and they are looking for more.
Yeah, get it down, clear out some of the farm. Now it's a recall back. Xenotech, he gave up, goes down to clear out his back jungle. Knowing he's not going to be able to get much for that. And, you know, honestly, not a huge loss for GankStars. They still have a slight lead, but the pressure's been swung around. The mid lane's pushed up to GankStars' turret. You know, they're even in, well, not even objectives, but they're down one finally. The gold is only 2,000 lead at 15 minutes, so it's not unsurmountable for Tempo to start winning these fights again. And you talked about Hyde. Hyde's starting to finally build into that next tier 3 item. He's got that piercing shard coming out here, potentially broken myth. So we'll see how GankStars plays this, Denominator.
Yeah, definitely a close matchup here. Both teams have been finding fights back and forth, and it is GankStars right now with the objective lead, but oh, they have a little bit of a gold lead too, but the kills are in favor of Tempo Storm thanks to the 3 early ones they were able to find. And then obviously that last fight as well, they were able to get Lulu and Mac Daddy. Now, 15, 16 minutes into the game, Kraken is on the board, and it is going to be a close one. The next team that wins a fight should be able to take that Kraken down pretty quickly. We talked about it a little bit earlier. The objectives do not move out of the way of Heliogenesis. The objectives do not move out of the way of Winter Spire. So if either team gets on that Kraken for even just 10-15 seconds, it's basically going to be a Kraken.
Oh no, Gaspy, he got caught out, dodges out the gauntlet, and the Solar Storm's blocked up. Double Gauntlet's going to be a complete whiff, I mean, whatever. Anyways, gonna move in. They are gonna be able to clear out the jungle though, get the pressure pushing Tempo back. Now they're gonna start this Kraken. Might have been too soon though. Hyde and Gaspy and Afro are rotating in. They're gonna contest it, Denominate. They're gonna go in. The Wolves come out. We see this all too often. The Wolves push back GankStars, but did they do a good enough job coming back into the fight? It's gonna go back and forth and pressure. Lulu trying to get the damage in place to Heliogenesis, but there comes the Valkyrie. GankStars secures the Kraken, Denominate. This is a massive blow to Tempo Storm.
That is, and if GankStars can chase down and pick up a kill here, it would be amazing for their push. Here, where's the Helio? There it is!
Gaspy so low. Solar Storm, it's not gonna hit. Whoa, almost. Oh. Very close. But Xenotech goes too far, gets deleted. And now, Tempo Storm might be able to take this Kraken pretty quick.
They might be able to, but with Lulu helping push down, this is a guaranteed choke point turret for the side of GankStars. Petal, Hyde, and the Fortress obviously going to try to work on that as much as they can. And now Gaspy and Playboy are wasting a lot of time that they could be damaging the Kraken. Hyde's not even on it. He's looking to get on Lulu.
He is going in. There's some damage. Root does land. No, there it goes. There's the Root finally. They just want the kill, but Lulu, all right, turns around. Looking to go on. Does get, oh, it's a nice trade by Mac Daddy. Gets the kill onto Gaspy. So, to a 1-for-1 trade here. Denominate, that's not really good for Tempo. They need to take out this Kraken sooner than later. And now Gaspy's making them run a wild goose chase.
Yeah, meanwhile, this Kraken is starting to wail on the Vein Crystal turret here. It's half health. They should be able to take it down, but with Gaspy down, this should be that turret dropping before this Kraken goes down.
It's very likely to nominate, as there's one more hit. They're going to use the Wolves, I think, just to make sure Cruel doesn't come in here and try to surprise them. But, you know, it's going to be a quick, easy turret. They're going to get the Kraken down, but one turret remaining is about as risky as it gets. You now have exposed yourself. I think, honestly, you don't even have to get aced at this point. For GankStars, just has to get maybe 1 or 2 kills. They should be able to go into the last turret, take it out, and win the game.
Yeah, definitely looking for it. And again, it's Tempo Storm in the lead with kills, but they are so far down in objective control right now. They're cutting it close on the gold, but I mean, they're down 3 turrets at this point, 4 total, but they're 3 under GankStars. And with the Celeste, again, if they just find one single fight, GankStars can easily push down that 1 turret.
Absolutely. Incredibly close team fights recently, but again, objective control-wise, GankStars has just dominated. As they've been able to win the fights that mattered, win, and get objectives for them, and that's what's important. It's good macro play coming out of them. GankStars now, I don't think they really need to go and push too much. In fact, if anything, just maybe ensure Tempo doesn't come peeping into the jungle, because when the Kraken spawns again, they could honestly just move in and take out the Kraken and close out the game. Kraken spawning right now, so Storm might know about it. They are eyeing, looking to kind of keep up here the lane. They're going to get found out, so Tempo knows that GankStars has their number. GankStars honestly not going to start the Kraken. I think they're really just hoping to bait out Tempo Storm. Nice flare to kind of keep an eye on both the jungle bush as well as the Kraken, so they now know GankStars isn't taking that. GankStars is the lane. But look, Hyde trying this strategy of just the surprise attack. Typically a move we see from Cruel, and with some success. So we'll see. Tempo actually is able to come in here and now clear GankStars out of the jungle. Might be able to put some vision down and try to get a surprise attack fight in the jungle here. But GankStars, I think GankStars still have the advantage. Real risky play here to dominate. They're going for Kraken. I'm not sure if this is the right call.
Nice positioning, though.
Nice positioning by Hyde. Finds Lulu. Core collapse misses, but the gauntlet is on point. Valkyrie comes down. Double gauntlet. Not gonna save. Not gonna save Lulu. Lulu drops. Now it's Xenotech, but oh no, Xenotech. He's melting. He's deleted. It's just Mac Daddy alive. Mac Daddy no longer alive. And an ace coming out of Tempo Storm. What a turnaround. Tempo Storm getting that jungle control. Getting the positioning. Hyde was able to surprise attack Lulu. When he pulls that off to dominate, they win the fight.
Yeah, it's been pretty close. They were able to get an ace here, so now Hyde is working on this Kraken, and he should easily be able to take it alone. But with that choke point turret getting dropped by Gatsby and Playboy Afro, they're now going to turn their attention to help Hyde finish this off so that they can close out this game. Only 2 turrets between Tempo Storm and their first point of split 1 and 2 of all of season. They've got to be, coordinated with this push here.
Hey, they've got to be. They can't give up an ace. Most definitely can't, because you'll have a base race for sure. GankStars, they are an experienced team. They've got a lot of veteran knowledge. They're going to be able to make good decisions regarding execution of this team fight. So we'll have to see how exactly this plays out here. GankStars now putting pressure onto the Kraken, trying to take the Kraken down quickly. They've got 2 turrets here. Tempo should be able to successfully get one of these 2 turrets. They've got to be careful. Here comes the Wolves. They're going in, attacking the pack. Core collapse misses. Valkyrie lands. And so now Tempo Storm's got the advantage. There's a gauntlet coming out, trying to block out Hyde. Solar Storm might have done it. Core collapse gets him. Hyde is going to drop here. Oh no, this is not looking good. And Cruel goes down. Xenotech's low, but I don't think Gatsby and company should risk it. As Lulu, he's at full health. He's looking just to keep applying pressure, but oh my goodness, no. Tempo might get this to nominate. GankStars are trying to stop the Kraken, but Gatsby and Afro, they're about to pull a GankStar onto GankStars as Tempo.
No.
Are they going to...
GankStars feels bad, man.
Yeah, it feels bad. They're not going to stop Kraken in time. They are going to give up the point to Tempo Storm, and we're going to game 3.
Yeah, game 3. This matchup has been so close. But Tempo pulled together their first point. Can they pull together a whole series? If they do, they would tie GankStars up 2-2 in the standings and move on to day 2 and look for those additional points in the think they play the winner of Rogue Hammers, so that's going to be a pretty difficult matchup as well.
Yeah, so a lot of work cut in for them, but again, they're focused on today. They're focused on this first victory. We're going to take a quick break, everybody, in between these games here as we get ready for game number 3. So don't go anywhere. When we come back, game 3 will be about ready to start. So be with us for just a few more minutes, guys, as we get ready for the next one.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're ready to get us into game number 3. I'm just going to check actually with all the players as we get into this third match. Unbelievable performance by Tempo to come back into that. They were down by so much to nominate.
Yeah, the Rhyme on Hyde, he made some really sneaky plays and was able to pull it together. You know, sticking and, you know, maybe an off-sided bush. You know, for example, when GankStars rotated down into their tri-bush and Hyde came in, got a Winter Spire and a Root, followed up with a Valkyrie on the edge of that gauntlet, was able to get the kill onto Lulu, and they were able to turn the game around heavily at that point with that Kraken take.
Oh, absolutely. Draft underway, and wow, they're breezing through it to nominate. Rhoda coming in from GankStars again, but they pick up the Kestrel this time first. I like this pick by GankStars. This is basically going to bait that Rhyme pick, I think, from Tempo, which is a little risky. GankStars, especially with Xenotech and Lulu, they're very proficient Rhyme players, so I don't know if Rhyme would be good into that Kestrel.
Well, we're in the second round of bans. They could easily ban away the Rhyme.
Exactly. So, I mean, we'll see what they do. And it's going to be Arden banned here. So I think at this point, they're looking to get Mac Daddy onto something a little less conventional. Mac Daddy is pretty strong at almost all the supports. I don't know if focusing on like an Arden ban necessarily made a huge difference. Plus with the Lyra, yeah, Lyra's pretty good dealing with that. But those double gauntlets were obviously a lot to deal with. Yep, you're right. There's the Rhyme ban. So GankStars acknowledging it's still too strong to go up against. But with the Kestrel pick, you know, Kestrel is still a little bit squishy. Do you risk going with something like an Ozo like they did game 1, or do you try to pull out something that's a little bit more like tanky like an Alpha? Or Rezo. Well, Rezo would be pretty good. Now they have the Vox. We have seen Vox Reza as a very popular duo of late.
Yeah, it is a potent combination, but it requires the Vox to be able to ramp up in the fights, and it also requires Reza to not get blown up on the front line. With the Catherine pick, that makes it very actually risky to pick the Reza. So I think this is a good pick by GankStars, as well as Mac Daddy is a very good Catherine. And now looking at what there is available in the jungle for Crystal Power, at least is what they should go. I wouldn't like to see the Kroll paired up here. We could go with something like the Alpha. We could go with something like the Reza as well. And, you know, those are going to be kind of your two main options you could run, with the exception of maybe throwing in a Scarf or a Celeste for Xenotech.
Yeah, and at this point, depending on how they're going to play the Kestrel, I think they're going to play in the lane as weapon, so it's going to be Lulu on the Kestrel. I think Xenotech wants to get on something with additional poke. So Samuel, he could go with Reza, like you said. The Vox is pretty low, close range, so a lot of different ways you could play into this. Again, you have to deal with whatever you go with. The engage might not be able to get in on Vox if that ball works up. That's why I like the poke. The Kestrel and Samuel, we see that come out every once in a while because it's just able to poke from such a strong distance, get so much damage on, and then it still has a really strong engage because, you know, both Samuel and Kestrel have the ability to kind of move the damage inwards really well. So it is going to be that Samuel pick. And Fortress to finish it out by Tempo Storm.
Sorry about that, Dragon. Had a call come in.
Unacceptable.
It was an emergency call.
All right. Well, I hope you're okay. I hope everything's all right. So,
yeah, my brother's car broke down.
Oh man. Well,
I sent him help.
All right. Good job, man. Good brother. By the way, everybody, make sure you guys wish a belated happy birthday to Domine. It was his birthday 2 days ago, right, Day?
Yeah. All
right. I know you hate you hate people knowing. So I was told specifically to remind everybody. All right, we're jumping into this matchup in just a few seconds. You sound so happy.
I know who reminded you too.
Yes, indeed. All right, man, guys, we are getting ready. We're getting into this matchup here in just a few seconds. GankStars looking for their first series win. Tempo Storm looking for their first series win, just coming off of their first victory in Vainglory8 in any game this season. So we will be seeing real quickly as we jump into the matchup who's going to get the series win. It's a huge deal. Both these teams, no series win. One of them's guaranteed to get one.
Absolutely, and it is a pretty decent composition put together on both of these teams. Hyde has started off with the Dragon Blood on Fortress, looking to maybe get an edge over Xenotech here in the early game.
Yeah, just trying to find something to put pressure. I like the Wolves. They do help as far as disengage. Samuel's known for being really strong with disengage and still doing a lot of damage. But this is time. GankStars is going to be able to get the Elder Treant. It's actually their first Elder Treant. Well, I wouldn't say it's their first Elder Treant, but it's the first time they got the Elder Treant first with the Elder Treant rotation. They've been doing the back two rotations starting off first for most of the series. Tempo now switching it up as well. They're going to clear out. Not going to be able to have an Elder Treant to even contest, but that's all right. Again, rotating up. GankStars. That, you know, they've been in this position before. This is kind of a big moment for them, for this roster specifically, just because of how hard the season's been for them, and, you know, persevering through this long series has been grueling so far.
Yeah, definitely, as Mac Daddy is now up here looking to hold the lane as Lulu is returning. He did make a chance to shop there and picked up an extra weapon blade. Now, it's not a huge purchase, but it does allow him just a little bit more ease in cleaning out the minions.
Absolutely, Xenotech and Mac Daddy, they might have found Hyde, but Hyde's looking to move in. Lyra and Gatsby rotate down. Just enough to basically keep GankStars on their toes. Actually, Xenotech really not afraid. He's going to actually come in here, look to take away this tree and counter jungle. Nice stun up. Does Hyde get it? He doesn't. Xenotech does. And now the question is, does Afro and Hyde have enough to take him out? He's doing a great job looking to go in here.
Here comes Gatsby.
Gatsby going in. Comes down here, but oh, it's Hyde who drops first.
Yeah, Mac Daddy gets that kill, so not giving it over to Xenotech, but that will accelerate the fountain a little bit here for Mac Daddy, as Xenotech being very aggressive. Can they find Gatsby as well?
They are looking for it. Xenotech, he's so much sustained thanks to his heroic perk. He doesn't really have to get out of the jungle. It takes a little bit of damage, moves away, comes back in. Oh, looks to take it. Does not get that tree at this time, but he's still hanging out here in the jungle. Hyde, better be careful. Goes in to try to find some damage on the Mac Daddy because of how low Mac Daddy was, but Xenotech, he's still almost at full health. He's just living in the jungle of Tempo Storm.
Yeah, doing a great job doing so. You mentioned that Corrupted Genius allows Xenotech to have so much sustain. As we see, I mean, that's like 10 to 20% of his health when he hits a hero with that Corrupted Genius. And now he's looking for the farm here out of Tempo Storm's jungle, and he's going to get it. He's going to get all of it.
Dude, denying a fortress farm early is so punishing, and Xenotech has just done a fantastic job so far, and trying to help get his team into a position where they could be the aggressors. He's just going to have to back away from all of his farm in the jungle, not able to contest any of it. Just how well BackDaddy and Xenotech have been so far. Gatsby hasn't really fared much better in the late. He's actually 10.5 CS below Lulu here, so he's struggling as well. It's just been a really rough start for Tempo Storm.
Yeah, it definitely has been. Xenotech sitting up at 17 CS to the 8 of Hyde, and Lulu sitting at 36 to the 23 of Gatsby. And we see GankStars taking the edge early, but we saw them take the edge early last game as well. Can Tempo make a beautiful comeback again, or is this lights out for the Tempo Storm story for 2017?
We're about to find out. Hyde finally able to get some farm here in this jungle. First time he's really been able to farm uncontested. So much pressure in the lane now. Lulu continuing that pressure. Kestrel does a good job, and this is something that we saw actually a lot of success coming out from Tempo Storm Denominate, as when they had Kestrel, they were able to put a lot of pressure in the lane, but now the story is reversed. It's actually GankStars with all this early game pressure looking for their first turret at just 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, definitely looking for it, but will they be able to find it? They will, and are they going to look for more? Gatsby's below half health. Playboy Afro is below half health. The Sigil is not available yet, but instead they find Hyde in the jungle.
Hyde has to use his healing flask there, barely able to stay alive thanks to that, and gets out just barely. As Xenotech and BackDaddy, these guys have been pairing really well for the last 5 or 6 minutes. They've really done a good job being able to get into the jungle of Tempo, be able to put pressure. Hyde's really struggling here. Just look, 15 CS to Xenotech's 27. In the jungle, that's a significant advantage going over to Xenotech.
Yeah, it's a rough start overall for Tempo here. GankStars are, I mean, even their just coordination in their rotations is looking absolutely huge. Xenotech likely going to pick up that Dragon's Eye for his first item. Oh, no, he's gone the Shattered Glass instead. So looking for that raw burst damage, not looking to ramp up in these fights. BackDaddy sitting at 9 stacks, maybe not the best position, but now Playboy Afro, you're getting blown up, sir.
Oh boy, Afro dropped. Nice job by GankStars to keep putting pressure in their rotation. You're right, you've been talking about it. It's been really clean. They've been able to clear out the jungle, counter jungle, pressure, then rise up and get the turret. And now at 5.5 minutes, and just within 1 minute of getting their first turret, they are now looking to get their second turret, while also almost taking out Gatsby in the process. It's just GankStars, they are snowballing this game. And Tempo Storm, chances of finding their first series may not be this week.
Might not be looking for it here, as this siege composition put together by GankStars is doing so much work in the lane. Hyde gonna get stunned up by this active camo now.
He is. Nice Oblivion. It has to be a blocked out. Good job by Tempo Storm to come in to re-engage, but they delete Hyde. Oh no, now GankStar's gonna just re-engage here. Finding Tempo out, clear the lane, keep putting pressure. Afro's so low. Oh, Xenotech, good aim, just not with enough, it doesn't have enough range to actually get the kill. And they're going to be able to clear out this jungle here for GankStars without a problem.
Crystal Sentry now rotating down as well. They decide not to take that one, so that will still be on the board the next time they swing around to the jungle. But at 7 minutes here, GankStars might even look to start up a gold mine soon, not now, but soon, and force a fight out of Tempo Storm.
Yeah, they're able to dictate the pace of this game. Tempo Storm has just been unable, completely unsuccessful to find any hope, any momentum. Every team fight, it looks like Tempo Storm's going to start finding a kill. You see a nice fountain pop. You'll see GankStars just reposition, disengage, and then re-engage very quickly. It's caught Tempo Storm out, actually kind of by surprise each time, and they end up losing that fight right away.
Yeah, definitely looking for it. It's such a rough position for both of these teams to be in. They're both so low that even a win here today, they have such a struggling path ahead of them to try to pass anybody for the challenge battles spot. They're sitting GankStars right now at 2 points, Tempo Storm at 1 point. The next closest team is Nova with 14. So one of these teams would have to make it all the way to the end in this week and next week, including winning one of them without Tribe ever seeing another point to pull it off. And now we've got a big fight breaking out here.
Huge fight. Silence comes out. Nice engage. MacDaddy doing a great job. And again, this is what we talked about. Tempo will go in for the fight, but they're unable to find enough damage to secure the fight. And it's always been GankStars re-engaging here to secure it. Now they've got a nice lane pressure. They're just going to blow in. Minion Candy on this wave as well. This is likely going to be another turret going over the GankStars.
Yeah, definitely looking for it here. They get the choke point down in under 9 minutes. So that is a huge start here for the side of GankStars. I mean, bigger than we've already been talking about for the past 9 minutes. I mean, they have literally been in sync with every single step they have taken. They've only found 3 kills, but because they're applying the lane pressure correctly, we see too many teams pick up this siege comp and then try to push kills before they push down the objective. When you do that, you sacrifice your time. You sacrifice the damage that you can put down on a turret, and quite often teams go a little too far and give up their life for it. GankStars hasn't done that. They've been focusing on the turrets. They've just been getting the objective gold in their pockets. They've been making it a nightmare for Gaspy to try to farm up his own lane. One shot, one kill, gonna chunk Gaspy's health out. But thanks to Gaspy's distance from the enemy and Afro's distance from the enemy, they're gonna be able to recall, top off their health, and pick up a couple flares here at the shop too.
Absolutely. Absolutely here. Oh, yeah. Oh, Lulu needs to put damage. Oh, look at the damage coming in on Afro. There's going to be a nice sigil to get the heal up here. And they might have found Xenotech. They do. Tempo Storm finding a fight. Active Camo gets a stun. Hyde. There's a silence. Not blocked out. Afro, Gaspy, and Hyde are so low. Oh, my goodness. Having to disengage. But Lulu wasn't that much healthier. So they don't want to risk it. They don't risk it, and so now they're gonna disengage. Wow, first kill on the board for this game here, as one shot, one kill, almost finding some damage onto the side of Tempo, but they've gone back, recalled, and healed up.
Yeah, definitely a good opportunity for Tempo there, finding a kill onto Xenotech, but they were forced so low by Lulu that they weren't able to finish out the fight. And Lulu's actually going into more crit at this point. He's building into that tornado trigger instead of the bone saw, and that is going to make it a little bit more difficult for him to find damage onto Gaspy and Hyde, but the crit should kind of balance out with going a Pierce route instead.
No, absolutely. Tempo Storm just looking for some momentum now. Any momentum they can get. As they are hanging in this game barely. They're down by 6,000 gold. Just trying to find something here. They're going to push up into the lane. Now there is still that first GankStars turret alive. But with some momentum, they could look to find it here. But all 3 members of GankStars are up in the lane. Tempo go to move in. But they're going to have to face this wall of damage. Yeah, they back away to dominate. Not looking to take it just yet.
No, I think that would have been a risky call for sure. With Lulu working into his 4th item and Gaspy only having his 2nd tier 3 offense online, that would have been incredibly risky. As well as Hyde is sitting on just an Aftershock for damage. You know, one would argue, you know, he still has the Dragon Blood and the Storm Crown. It's not really raw damage at this point, so Xenotech's Shatterglass and Dragon's Eye, much scarier, especially with how easy it is for him to build up stacks in the middle of combat.
We are able to get a gold mine. GankStars now extending that lead to over, what was that, 7,000 gold lead already at just 12 minutes. Pretty sizable lead, but they're starting to lose some of that momentum, Denominator. Their fights have not looked as clean. They've not really putting a pressure onto Tempo. A lot of this is done to Tempo just trying to run away from the pressure. They've really not been interested in engaging on a full-out brawl. But, you know, it's something to keep in mind. We see a Metal Jacket being picked up by Gaspy here. Is Tempo just looking to play the defensive game for the time being?
Yeah, Tempo just trying to turtle up as close to their base as they can and get some farm onto Gaspy where he can be that hyper carry. Him and Hyde have both completed the Metal Jacket, and that substantially reduces Lulu's amount of damage, but a burned Arcane Passage, they're not going to find anything, except for Afro right back into it.
Oh, no, Afro, what are you doing? There's going to be a silence. Only Gaspy blocks it out, but they get the kill on to MacDaddy. Oh no, GankStars, you just have not been able to secure this damage, even with a mistake like that. Might have been more of like maybe a ploy, but oh, Xenotech better watch out. All of Tempo Storm are here. They're healthy, and they're looking to potentially go in here. They're pushing in. GankStars are not even to be able to recall just because of how much damage is coming in. Hyde moves in. Lots of damage, but Hyde takes too many Glimmer shots. Has to back off. Another Synchro Shield coming in, moving in. Oh my gosh, Lulu, he's low. He drops. Now it's just Xenotech remaining. Do they continue the pressure? They got to watch out. Xenotech's drifting darkness. Looking to come in. They move in. Xenotech, he's low. Do they find the kill? Gaspia, one more, two more shots. They get it. Oh my goodness. Could they get the ace here? It's just... Oh my goodness. It's just Captain Baghdaddy's alive. Baghdaddy, he's running. They're all low, but they're going to get the kill. They're going to get the ace to nominate. And Tempo Storm are turning this game around. And they are saying we're not going to go down lightly.
There was no reason for GankStars to go in one at a time and just drop like flies. And now Tempo Storm, it was looking like GankStars' game all game long, but because of the coordination falling off there, it has shifted up very, very quickly.
It absolutely has. The game's completely turned around. It's unbelievable. Tempo Storm could actually win this game. This matchup just won an incredible turnaround for them. As if they could win this, they just completely change the narrative of their season, getting some points. Granted, doesn't get them out of the challenge battle threshold, but it will help build that momentum going into the next week.
Yeah, I mean, even going into tomorrow is definitely ideal for what they're looking for. And, Tempo has found good opportunities. They just haven't found enough of them.
Absolutely. GankStars now looking for something here. They haven't really been able to initiate these fights. It's almost like they've been playing a little scared to dominate, which is so crazy. They were up by so much at about 8 or 9 minutes and then just unable to close this one out. So they still are in it. They're still in the lead. We'll see if they can do it right now.
Yeah, but with only 2 turrets remaining, if GankStars can find one more ace, it would be only, minions holding them back from a victory. 15 minutes in the game, this Kraken has been started up. Xenotech looking to pressure Tempo Storm back, but I think Tempo knows this is going on. They're going to look to come in for a steal. We've seen Lyra's do it.
Oh, they're not going to get the Kraken steal to dominate, but they are going for the fight. They feel like they've got the Wolves are out, stunned up by Hyde, gets stunned to the active camo, and the Flash Driver is a little bit too far forward, so it doesn't get everyone silenced. At this point, though, does Gaspy... Yeah, he's just going to have to back off. They're going to go after this Kraken, and now GankStars are going to regroup and look to start pushing.
Yeah, and if GankStars pushes correctly here, they very easily should be able to end the game, but Baghdaddy has taken a lot of damage, and Xenotech is very low on energy. Lulu not in much better shape himself.
Yeah, they're trying to get an Afro. He's one taking damage next. One shot, one kill is below everybody. He's not going to get damage here. Now they turn their attention. Again, Baghdaddy really fronting the damage, which has been working out early, but lately, if he drops, he doesn't able to give the sustain his team needs. Afro and Gaspy now turn their attention. There's a wait for it. They're going in, moving in. Lulu tries to get the stun damage. He doesn't. He drops. Oh my goodness, this is Tempo turning this game around. Oblivion's going to actually land onto Gaspy. Gets the kill. Does Hyde get the kill? He does. He finds Xenotech. Baghdaddy still trying to do some work, but now he's got to watch out. He's going to unfortunately give over the ace here. Question is, does this Kraken go down in time? I think this is going to be an exposed Vein Crystal for the side of... Yeah, it goes down. For the side of Tempo Storm, they're not going to stop the Kraken soon enough. And so now, although GankStars give up an ace here to dominate, they've got this open crystal that if they can just move in with the fight, they could be able to take this game.
Yeah, they definitely could look for it. It is going to be difficult. We saw them way in the lead in Game 2, and Tempo Storm was able to pull it back. So, and again, even though there's an exposed vein, you still have to be incredibly cautious with how you play. And that's really the most difficult part of this game, is because Gaspy has the Poison Shiv, he has the Sorrow Blade, but he does not have the breaking point yet. If he had a breaking point online, which... he's still a sizable amount of gold away from, since he only has the heavy steel. He'll be able to have a lot more impact on the fights.
Oh, he absolutely will. Absolutely will. Poof, this game is close to dominate. All right. Well, with that, Tempo Storm, this is their last shot. Can they make it? We're about to find out. Tempo Storm goes in. There's the arcade passage. Moving through. They just try to jump onto the enemy team, but GankStars doing a good job disengaging this time. Gatsby actually takes a bunch of shots. They Crucible too early to stop the Oblivion, and now it is Tempo Storm. They are running, and they better. They do have a Lyra, so they should be able to heal up here in a few minutes. They don't have to recall all the way back, and they might be able to actually re-engage onto GankStars, but instead they're going to port back. They don't want to risk it. GankStars now going to be able to move through here, through the jungle. They're waiting for the Kraken. Here's the Kraken. This is the problem right now with Tempo Storm Denominate. Team fight-wise, they could probably win, but GankStars has the pressure of the jungle. They're going to give up potentially another Kraken here unless they identify it soon enough. They're clearing the lane. I don't know if they know the Kraken started. GankStars actually pulls away from the Kraken. They don't want to actually start a fight just yet. So they are not. But then here comes Tempo Storm rotating down in the jungle to find GankStars here. Do they engage on the fight? Thinking about it, but they don't yet. And this is interesting to dominate. GankStars really afraid now to initiate, and for most of the game they were really ahead. Now it's almost like this game is dead even with that 3,000 gold lead.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, GankStars, they don't want to put themselves in a situation where they'd throw. There are 4 turrets alive still, but these death timers are getting very long as well. And Tempo Storm, they're starting to get to the point where their builds are coming online, but Gatsby still has not completed the breaking point, and therefore he is lacking a lot of damage. And Lulu has 5 offensive items. He has Sorrow Blade, Triple Monocle, and a Bone Saw. That is why he's getting blown up so easily. This is such a risky call.
Yeah, it is. Tempo Storm, they're full health. I'm not sure where they're going. I think they maybe just wanted to allow GankStars to start the Kraken. They move away, and now they're looking to come back. Kraken's almost stolen. I don't know if Tempo Storm... Oh my goodness, Kraken's taken. This is horrible for Tempo Storm. GankStars looking for their first series win here. Might have found it. Can Tempo Storm get the ace? They're going in. There's Hyde and Gatsby. They blocked out the Lulu. Lulu's low. Oblivion doesn't get blocked off. There's 2 to sleep. And oh no, this is not good for Tempo. GankStars, they don't even need to re-engage. They've got a Kraken that's pushing the lane for them. Tempo Storm have to clear this Kraken out right away. Back Daddy and Xenotech looking to pull in. The question is, does Tempo re-engage here? Gatsby turns around, turns on the Xenotech. Wow, look how fast they turn. Back Daddy, now he's low. Do they find the kill? One more shot does it, and they do. Xenotech has to back off. Kraken's moving into the base, but it looks like they will be able to take this Kraken out in time to dominate if all 3 members can get on there before it gets to the crystal.
Yeah, definitely going to be looking for it.
It's going to be close.
Yeah, it's definitely rough. I almost think Xeno could have waited a second and came in and just looked for a couple Malice and Verdicts onto the crystal. Now, even if he doesn't do a lot of damage, if he could have bought time for the Kraken to land, 2, 3 more attacks just by kiting with the speed that he gets out of his Malice and Verdict use, then, look at the crystal. That's so, 2 Kraken hits right there.
Yeah, that's so close to dominate. That was... Whew. That was not close. And the lane's pushed up too. So GankStars, they really have a shot at this still. But they're starting to let it creep away. The gold lead now is irrelevant. There's no both teams are getting close to max build. In fact, I'd say Hyde just probably needs to sell that Dragon Blood contract here and build out some more offense. He's really surprising. I don't think we typically have seen any hero hold on to a Dragon Blood contract for quite this long. They're looking to go in. There's the fight. There's the engage. Oh, they might have found Lulu. They did. Lulu drops. This is not good. Xenotech might be the next to fall. And oh my gosh, Mac Daddy, he's all by himself. He could try to go to the Vein Crystal, but I don't think it's going to matter. He needs to find a spot. He needs the recall. And actually, because of that, they identified a Gatsby. He's just going to go right for the turret. Kraken's going to be up soon. Oh, no. This is just devastating to dominate for GankStars. They're letting this game slip away from them.
Yeah, that's definitely how it appears. Obviously, Hyde and Playboy Afro eventually will be able to get a kill on Mac Daddy. It's going to take time, but they will be able to get it. Fortress, obviously, with Lyra here, will get the Pack-Mate speed boost, as well as Lyra's basic attacks will provide a slow, and now turning down into the Crystal.
Well, he's going to save the ace. No, he doesn't. I was going to say he saved the ace, but almost.
No. Not gonna happen. That's Lulu back up now, but we've seen this no defense Kestrel got obliterated in that last fight. And if GankStars can't find something, they are going to hand this game over to Tempo Storm, and they're going to be in a rough spot. Their morale is going to be crushed, and they are guaranteed to be in the challenge battles. The loser of this matchup is guaranteed.
Well, now it's Tempo Storm. They are going for the Kraken. This is just unbelievable. We could be having a base race situation here to nominate the base race if provided that Tempo Storm gives up an ace, because, you know, it's an exposed crystal. And we could see, honestly, GankStars try something, but with Mac Daddy still on cooldown, with the Kraken being secured, and there's plenty of vision, by the way. I don't think GankStars is going to get very far without Tempo Storm at least spotting that out, so maybe a little bit of a distraction could occur. Plus, it's actually hide with the fortress with these wolves that will be able to chase down the side of GankStars no matter where they are, even if there is no vision. So I really love Tempo's comp right now. I think that they've got an insane amount of potential to win this game. And there's only, what is it, 2 more turns? Yeah, 2 more turns for GankStars. There's a Kraken. This could be the game push. We'll have to see to nominate. GankStars and Tempo, man, they are going down to the very last second here on this match.
And that's good, because my headset is dying. So
oh, no.
Hopefully we'll be able to see one of these teams close it out here soon. There's a silence coming out of Mac Daddy.
Oh, Lulu, though. He might have been spot out. We are going to see some recalls. Do they recall Lulu? He's thinking about it. He hasn't gotten very far, but the wolves came out. So now he's got to contend with that. So far, this has actually just been Tempo. They're going to get a kill. Oh, no. And now Lulu all by himself here over the jungle.
Oh, no.
This is such a bad move.
Oh, no. Okay, he's recalling.
And, oh, wow. So Playboy Afro stayed. This is going to be a big deal. He's got the ability to, yeah, he's going to be able to arcade passage out of here. So he's not worried. He's not worried. He's just going to actually help this Kraken. So, not the end of the game here for Tempo Storm, right? It's not there. They're going to get this Kraken right now, but, oh, it's so low. Whew.
Over here's the rest of Tempo.
Tempo coming in, looking for the fight. They've latched onto Lulu. Lulu, no defense. He's dropping low. Blocked out that active camo stun. And there's the crystal. And Tempo Storm, they are going to win this matchup. They are going to secure this in this best of 3. GankStars, with such an early game pressure, fall short. They do not win a series here in the entirety of the autumn season, at least not yet, as Tempo Storm move on to game number 2.
Yeah, that's a good victory there for Tempo Storm, but can they pull things together for game 2? That's the real question, and we'll have to see tomorrow, as they, I believe, will be playing off against Rogue, who were able to take the reverse sweep over hammers as well. So,
wow. What a crazy comeback here. I mean, GankStars, you know, finding that first victory in game 1, they struggled in game 2. Game 3, it looked like they just had it. There was so much pressure. Hats off to Tempo Storm. I really don't know what happened. The build here from Lulu, very risky to nominate. Usually we see one defensive item coming out. In this case, there were none. And that allowed Gaspy and Hyde to just, when they got Lulu caught, just delete him. So that's it for us, guys. That's it for tonight here on the Vainglory8 powered by VIS. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back with more action next week for the final week of Vainglory8. In addition, make sure you guys tune in this week. We have the Challenge Battle playoffs. They are kicking off hot and fresh. There are going to be a lot of actions, and this is where we're going to crown our top 3 challenger teams that will be facing off against GankStars and likely Tempo Storm. GankStars, though, has officially been relegated into, well, not relegated, but into the challenge battles they will go. And they will be forced to have to contend with possible relegation. We'll just have to wait and see how it all plays up, though. But unfortunate news for GankStars and this really tough autumn season. With all that said, though, Denominated, thanks for joining me. Thanks, everyone, and the viewers tuning in and watching. We'll see you guys next week here on the VIS League.
$14.99.